Okay, so we're going ahead. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today in our webinar on accelerating your green business in Latin America, where we will be discussing the numerous available opportunities for Finnish companies to expand their activity towards Latin America and also increase their presence in the region. My name is Juan Rieta, and I'm the project advisor in the Low Carbon and Circular Economy Business Action, which is an EU-funded program whose benefits and context will also be explained later on, along with other current topics related to our joint efforts of the European Union and its member states to fight climate change and to reach the sustainability goals and to reach a more competitive and innovative and sustainable business fabric in Latin America. Today we have the honor of counting on presentations from frontline speakers from Business Finland, from the Low Carbon Business Action Program, from the Finnish Climate Fund, from the National Bank for Economic and Social Development in Brazil, and from the Business Development Bank of Colombia, and also known as Bancoldex. And so just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the question box in your control panel, and I'll bring them up during the session. Now, without much further ado, we'll broadcast our first message from Helena Saren, which is the head of Carbon Neutral Finland mission in Business Finland, who will be presenting and talking about the large disruption taking place in the decarbonizing field. So I'm gonna just a second, please. Sorry about this technical issues. So here we go.
Lovely to be here. Unfortunately, this time only via video. So my name is Helena Saren, and I'm based here in Helsinki, working for Business Finland and heading our carbon neutral mission. And prior to that one, I was for several years responsible for our Smart Energy Finland program. And today my topic is about large disruptions on a global sphere. And when we are talking about large disruptions, we are talking about energy transition, digitalization, decarbonization, urbanization, and so forth. And all of these large disruptions are very, very closely intertwined with one another, and also making the future highly, highly interesting to see what lies ahead, because nobody really knows what will be the winning solutions, winning technologies in, let's say, 20 or 30 years' time. So highly interesting and important sector we are working with at the moment. Finland has very ambitious targets related to carbon neutrality. Neutrality by 2035 and negativity by 2050. So the question is obviously how to do that one. And for that one, we definitely need global cooperation. We need to learn one's experiences, share best practices, and so forth. I have often said that energy is the key enabler to decarbonize the societies on a global level. And this picture very, very clearly emphasizes and strengthens my message. If we take into account also the topics here like waste to energy, agriculture, discussing about various biomasses and the different businesses that can be based on the biomasses and their linkages to energy field, the importance of the energy sector grows even further. On this slide, I have collected 4 enablers that need to be in place in order to make the change happen. They are policy play, driving innovations, investments, as well as behavioral change. When having a look on the policy play, so obviously that means the legislation, regulation, incentives, if so, need to be in place. But what I find most important is that we need to have and we need to create an environment where companies and organizations can jointly test and implement new technologies and solutions. When going further to driving innovations, there are two facts there pretty much. One is that we need a long-term commitment. And another one is that we need lots of innovations. International Energy Agency has stated that after 2030, to keep us on our path to net zero by 2050, we still need about 50%. So half of the needed innovations are still in the research phase or in a demonstration or in a pilot phase. So that is an area we need to invest in heavily on a global level and join forces globally. When going further to the investment part, so the International Energy Agency has estimated that we need every year during this decade $4 trillion investments in the smart energy infrastructure. And that is a huge amount. But also at the same time, we should have a look on the instruments available at the moment and probably develop new kind of instruments to support new innovations to be implemented. As when we are having new innovations in real life, in real projects, the technological and economical risks are higher than compared to a proven solid technologies and solutions. So how to speed up that development? That's a question. So when going further to behavioral change and having a look on both consumers as well as industries and companies, it shows that the minority, so less than 20% of these changes will happen free willingly. And for the rest, so for the majority, various kind of regulations are needed. So here again, we get back to the policy play, which was the one I started with. On this slide, I have collected a couple of topics or ideas or thoughts, which I found are probably not the most crucial, but very crucial for our future. And these are also the areas where cooperation potential lies in on a global level as well. So we definitely need to have a look on holistic systemic solutions instead of partial optimization. So as an example, when thinking about decarbonizing the transportation sector, we need to focus our actions on, let's say, electric vehicles, charging infrastructures, smart grids, hydrogen, probably other e-fuels, and so forth. So it's much larger entity. We also need to have a look on sector coupling as well as on digitalization. So this year, Business Finland together with the Technology Finland published a white paper on digitalization and electrification. And there we stated that about 15% of global carbon emissions can be tackled by more intensified use of digitalization. So definitely we have to focus much more on that side. Smart and flexible grids are a must, and they must include as well the various kind of storage solutions. And that has a close relation to hydrogen and power to economy. as these are very crucial long-term carriers of energy. In all the cities, municipalities and countries, it is vital to understand what is the status at the moment, what are the local and regional resources that could be used, and then make the plan to use them into a full potential. And then obviously it depends on what kind of solutions are the most suitable for each case. In developing new solutions, we need to include the consumers and end clients much more earlier on in the solution development work. Also, new business models are entering with a very fast pace, and there's a global tendency going from CapEx-oriented into OpEx-oriented solutions. So that provides very interesting new openings for new businesses and probably new job creation as well. As stated early on, supportive regulation needs to be there in place. And then on a global level, we should much more pay attention to test beds and sandboxes in order to implement new innovations in place. So that was probably my 5 minutes time, which was reserved for me. And with these wordings, I wish you a very fruitful webinar and looking forward to hopefully at some point meeting with you, but continue the potential cooperation with all of you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so we undoubtedly thank Ms. Saren for having had the kindness of sharing her this valuable insights about the potential of new technologies to unlock the development of a decarbonized and sustainable economy. So now, without more delay, we give the floor to Ms. Heidi Virta, who is Senior Director for the Latin American region in Business Finland, who will be presenting the services offered by Business Finland in Latam. And we'll also share some insights regarding doing business in Latin America. So Heidi, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Are you able to put the presentation on the screen?
Yes, your presentation.
Yes. Thank you very much. Well, and good morning to Latin America and good afternoon to Finland. And it's a pleasure to be here together with Low Carbon Business Action. And thank you so much for being an excellent partner here in Latin America for the Finnish companies. So my name is Heidi Virta and I'm the head of Business Finland for the Latin American region. And I would just briefly like to share with you. Thank you very much, Juan. We can go to the next slide. An update. So Business Finland, we are the accelerator of global growth, and we are as part of Team Finland network, working together with the Finnish embassies. We create new growth by helping Finnish businesses go global and by supporting and funding innovations. We also cover Invest in Finland as well. We have offices in more than 40 countries, and in Latin America, we have offices in Mexico, Chile, Peru, and Brazil. And we have also one full-time consultant working for us in Colombia. And we seek to generate win-win partnerships and projects that are environmentally sound and result in economic growth, education, safety, and well-being of the citizens. So Low Carbon Business Action has been a wonderful partner for this. Thank you very much. You can go to the next slide, Juan. Thank you. So for the Finnish companies, we offer, as said, advisory services, also funding for the innovation, helping in problems, connecting you with the end clients in Latin America, with potential partners as well. So please be in contact with me or the team for any support. You can go to the next slide. Thank you very much. Very shortly on what is important when doing business in Latin America. we have seen that it's very important to have of course, products and services that suit the end customer needs. It's also very important to have a sales and maintenance service in Spanish or Portuguese through own office or representative, and the reference cases. And in many cases, also proof of concepts with the end clients or with the partners. This can be a very good way to start the business. And I think we have here now the excellent partnership with the Low Carbon Business Action in connecting Finnish companies with the potential partners in Latin America. Another very important thing is relationship and trust building, as well as everywhere in the world. The business and all the projects are based on trusted relations. So this is a very important part of the Latin American business culture as well. Thank you very much, Juan. I would go to the next slide. I would just like to give the Team Finland Latin America commercial contacts for everyone. So our offices and our contacts in Mexico, Chile, Peru, and Brazil. And as well as we have the commercial counselor Heta Pihalahti working in Argentina within the embassy, covering also Paraguay and Uruguay. And also we have the Team Finland special advisor, Kimmo Aura, located in Brasilia, working at the embassy there. Thank you very much, Juan. This was on my behalf a greeting to all. This is wonderful to be organizing this event with you and to hear of the opportunities and activities you will have and how we can support you and with the Finnish companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much also to you, Heidi. Kiitos. I'm sure that this will be the landmark for a great collaboration. So now we give the floor to Mr. Alfredo Caprile, which is the team leader of the Low Carbon Business Action Program in Latin America. And he will be introducing the program, its functioning, and also he will give a short overview of the business opportunities that we currently have active for potential EU providers. Of course, here included Finnish companies. So please, Alfredo, we're eager to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan, and hello to everybody. As Juan said, my name is Alfredo Caprile. I'm the team leader of this program, which is funded by the European Union and called with a very long name, Low Carbon and Circular Economy Business Action in the Americas. I'm going to tell you a little bit as to how the program works, especially in putting European SMEs in contact with Latin American companies and what the Low Carbon Business Action is all about. Basically, this program is a doing business platform that facilitates exchanges between companies in Latin America which have environmental sustainable problems and technology solution providers from the EU. This program began in September of 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, unfortunately, and is set to end by September of 23. This has precluded us from having face-to-face meetings. Hopefully by next year, we'll be able to get back to having companies from Europe coming to Latin America and meet different companies. But so far, everything has been done on a virtual basis. The program is active in 4 countries, basically Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Colombia. And in each of these countries, we have a team of professionals which are responsible for finding business opportunities that meet the program criteria. We have started by concentrating in making a detailed low carbon and the circular economy market analysis, analyzing the regulatory frameworks in each of these countries, looking into the technological trends, and identifying the main barriers in each of the 4 countries, and obviously getting in touch with key stakeholders in each of the countries. Also, in each of these 4 countries, we have been working in identifying specific technology demands and contacting companies with mature projects that meet the program criteria of lowering greenhouse gas emissions or being part of the circular economy. At the same time, we have a team in Europe that has been identifying technology providers and putting them in touch with the different demands which are present in the 4 countries in order to define joint business projects and move on to the stage of providing technical assistance, as I will explain in a minute. Basically, the main goals of this program is to promote, on one hand, to promote the European Green Deal and the Paris Climate Agreement, but at the same time, it basically is set to enhance the sustainability transition of companies to a low carbon and circular economy via, on the one hand, helping the European SMEs to go international and increasing the competitiveness of the Latin American companies in those 4 countries. How does it work for you? Once the European company, the first step is for them to register in our platform, something that is very easy to do because it can be done from our website. Once you are registered, you will be able to find partners via targeted meetings and matchmaking events that we're constantly organizing with the aim of defining what we refer as joint business concepts, which once they are approved, they will open the door to receiving technical assistance. The matchmaking, these matchmaking events, here we are showing you some of the matchmaking events that are upcoming. I mean, we're going to have one in Colombia on October 27, October 28th. And the registration deadline is on October 20th, so you still have time to register for that. And this matchmaking event is going to be concentrating on sustainable cities, lighting, transport, and sustainable construction mostly. On November 10 and 11, we are organizing another matchmaking event, in this case for Chile. And this one has to do mostly with the extended producer responsibility scheme that is being put in Chile. And there are 3 organizations, which are SOFOFA, CIRA, and APROS, who are going to basically be inviting very important Chilean companies that have very substantial technology demands to be able to see who they can meet from European SMEs, and in this case, especially from the Finnish companies. And then we are also organizing another matchmaking event, which will take place in Brazil, November 25th, 24 and 25th. And this one is going to be basically concentrated on agriculture, or we're going to be talking about carbon-free farms. As once the European company finds a partner with whom to basically continue working in terms of defining how to work together, we basically need to put together that in a form that we call it the joint business concept, in which basically we define who is the buyer, who is the seller, what's the need, and so forth. That goes through an analysis, and once it's analyzed, basically that opens the door for the program to be able to provide you with some technical assistance. That technical assistance can be basically in helping you with technical and market feasibility studies, something that may have to do with financial coaching. I mean, many of these projects are, one of the stumbling blocks is how to obtain financing. Then some of them may need some help with legal issues that has to do with the modalities of doing business in Latin America, tax issues, regulatory issues, and so forth. So in this manner, I mean, the technical assistant, that is something that has to be decided by both parties as what is it that they need to be able to move on and get to close a deal. Now, in terms of the eligibility criteria for the EU companies to participate in the project, they have to meet four objectives. The first is obviously the company has to be working in a low carbon or circular economy related sector. The EU has asked us also that the number of employees of such company cannot be more than 499. The company has to be owned, more than 51% of the equity has to be owned by European Union nationals. And obviously the company needs to be based in a European Union member state and have a valid VAT number. This is basically the very easy criteria to meet as long as you are an SME. And now I can give you some ideas of the business opportunities that we're finding in different countries. I mean, the list is very long. I assume that this presentation is going to be shared with all of you. So then you can go over the list with details. Here you have the ones for Colombia. I mean, the CO, we use it to basically abbreviate Colombia. And as you can see, I mean, there's a very large range of business opportunities that we're finding. This is a new slide. I mean, you have more opportunities for Colombia that had to do with circular economy or waste to energy or mobility issues. Chile is mostly concentrated on circular economy and recycling. I mean, because of the extended producer responsibility law that has been passed in Chile. So many companies are looking as to how to comply with that law. Brazil is obviously a very large country and is probably going to have the largest shares of opportunities just because of their size. And they're concentrated on waste management, solar PV, a lot on solar PV, agriculture, green hydrogen is another sector. Biogas is very important, and biogas and biomethane within Brazil. More on waste management. And then in Argentina, there is a very specific focus on everything that has to do with extended agriculture. So sowing, technologies for sowing, for harvesting, smart and precision agriculture. And the list goes on with more smart and precision agriculture, customer service. And there are some others that have to do with biogas and other areas. But this will give you an example of the type of opportunities that you're going to be able to find if you register under the program. The registration is for free. And in here you have the contact details as to how to get in touch with Juan, with Santiago, with Inigo. They are part of the European team. And basically you can apply by getting into our website. So thank you very much for your interest in being part of this program. We are very happy to have you. And I know that there has been a lot of contacts with Finnish companies already in some of the countries. So thank you very much. And I leave the floor back to Juan.
Thank you very much, Alfredo, for that brilliant presentation. Now we give the floor to Mrs. Sara Matero, which is in the Finnish Climate Fund. And well, she will be explaining some of the services and available instruments of this fund for Finnish companies. So whenever you're ready, Sara, thank you very much.
Thank you. And hello from my side as well to all of you. So the Finnish Climate Fund, we're a new Finnish state-owned special assignment company. We're a new innovation and funding actor. And why we are here is basically if you are a Finnish company and you have a great idea for a climate solution and you would wish to export it to Latin America, but you need to build, let's say, a pilot factory or a demo factory before that one. That's where we can come in. So we are especially focused on climate change, on boosting the decarbonization of industry and climate digitalization. And what we do, we have a very narrow focus on where our funding is focused. It's in large scale products where we can bring a verifiable added value with our funding so that the projects are enabled at all earlier or at a wider scale than they would with purely private funding. So we fund companies, but they can be publicly owned as well. They can be PPPs, so public-private companies as well. And our funding can be used to fund up to 50% of the total investment. We do not give grants, we do not give subsidies. So our main instrument at the moment is capital loans, but we are not a profit-seeking funding actor. So our, let's say our interest rates are reasonable in that sense. So we are based here in Finland, and on the right-hand side of the slide, in addition to focusing on climate change, in addition to focusing on scaling up phases, we have two types of investment categories. So these investment categories have been kind of recognized as the targets which need this sort of state intervention in our kind of instruments. So we're talking about scaling up the deployment of climate solutions. It might be actual facility investments, so factories, when you have to build with concrete and steel to see if your solution works or not. It can be scaling up the deployment. You might have these like a small size solution, climate solution that works in a factory, but you need to build more of these small size solutions so we can come even in the scaling up of individual targets. Or then we can scale up digital solutions, which can be, for instance, business platforms. And then the second target type. So for the first one, our ticket size is between 2 and 20 million euros. Unfortunately, I do not know what that is in currencies in Latin America, but in euros, it is quite significant. And that is up to 50%. So it means that the total investment sizes, what we're looking at, are from 2 to 50 or even hundreds of millions, but our share is topped at the 20 million. And then the second type, which is a bit smaller, are platforms which are enabling emissions. So these, let's say, carbon sequestration pipes that a whole industrial ecosystem can be brought around that physical platform. Or it can be a digital platform, a data sharing platform. Let's talk about CO2 data monitoring and so on. So this can also be one of our investment targets. So trying to be very short, trying to be very brief. The materials are handed to you afterwards. Anything you need to know about us can be found at climatefund.fi. And we don't have any open calls. We can just be contacted whenever you feel like you have a great solution to us. So I bid you welcome and thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Very, very interesting, that presentation. I'm sure we will get in touch very soon because I see clear synergies between all our institutions. So now we go to the next speaker, who is Marcus Santiago, who is from the National Bank for Economic and Social Development. And he will be explaining, presenting some socio-environmental and productive loans section. So please, Marcus, the floor is yours. Thank you for being with us today.
Okay, well, good afternoon, good morning for everyone. So I will share a brief presentation to talk about our work here at BNDES. Just a second. I think you, can you see it?
Yes,
Yes,
it's
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So briefly, I'll talk about BNDES. I don't know if you all know, we are a national bank of development. We are the biggest development bank in Latin America. We have disbursements around 10 billion euros or 60 billion reais every year. And most of our disbursements and actions are towards projecting a business model of sustainability, of guiding and helping companies in this sustainability, in developing more sustainable business models. So I'm the head of department of corporate relations and the ESG agenda. So here today, I show you some solutions that are all related to ESG. So we can provide credit and securities for companies that are Brazilians or not Brazilians, or Finnish companies as well. They have some company in Brazil, a subsidiary, so it's possible. We usually provide 80% of total investments, especially in ESG credit lines. We have linked loans, one for biofuels, which is called RenovaBio, and we have one for reforestations, connectivity of low developed companies, and also we can provide it for equipment of energy efficiency and renewable energy. Renewable energy, by the way, until by 2018, BNDES was the bank in the world that provided more loans for energy, for the implementation, especially of wind farms and solar plants. So this is, I think, it's a good card for us to show you how we are committed to this agenda. We also have sustainability bonds, which are green bonds and social bonds. We are focusing more and more on logistics and mobility credits that are related to green projects. So when the project is designed at the beginning, BNDES is also involved with the government to make it more green. For example, if you have a VLT solution, how can we make it greener? So this is in the project. We are working in the project stage, and then if the project becomes greener, let's put it that way, then BNDES can provide the credit in more special lines with the reduction of, like a linked loan, reduction of interest rates. We also provide services for sanitation grants, concessions and privatizations. We're also working on that. Service and investment funds that are focused on the disposal of stock. We have a garage to develop companies, startups, but they have to create an impact in the social or environmental. So this is also innovation, something that we are always checking. And we have non-refundable grants for social. We have a social environmental fund that has a public call now of 100 million reais. We have also actions for COVID combat and of recovering our history of history patrimonies. Okay. Aqui, we also have something that are under development and to be launched very soon. One of them is a Park and National Forest program. We have 8 states that gave to BNDES this responsibility of structuring these parks and national forests for the private sector. So this is a total of 36 parks and national forests, because this way we can provide more investments to national parks. We have the FIDA, which is a partnership with GCF for us to combat projects in the northeast of Brazil of climate change, to invest in local and small rural areas. We also have here, we are developing a carbon market, a public call. The BNDES will launch a pilot by the end of the year. And we have a guarantor fund for energy efficiency, which is something critical in Brazil because we have good projects in energy efficiency, but we don't have a guarantee provided by the banks. So we are doing this with Eletrobras, a Brazilian company, to enhance the the bankability of these banks. And in the non-refundables, we are about to start by the COP26 in Glasgow, announce an ecological restoration match funding, also a productive inclusion match funding. Embrapi is a partnership developed dedicated to innovation. Also, we have a project to provide water to all the 3,000 schools in the northeast of Brazil, the local that they have more, that they need more, and also blended finance, something that combines funding, credit with non-refundable solutions. So this is something that we are eager to do. So just to emphasize, we have credit. We've been doing credit for ESG solutions for quite a long time. The example of renewable energy is, I think, guarantees that, is a proof of that. But we are moving more and more to non-refundable solutions as well, and to provide also services. And I think this can be helpful for the Finnish companies that are interested in working with Brazil. So thank you very much. I finish here the presentation, and thank again for the opportunity to talk to you today.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Marcus. Well, it seems that we have some questions here, so we can go through one of them. One of our participants asked you if there's any national content involved in. Yeah, if there's any national content involved in any specific loans.
I'm sorry, who you're asking for? You're asking me? I'm sorry, I couldn't see the question.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, we have a local content policy, but in the solar projects, for example, we have two possible ways. For some companies want to do with imported equipment, especially the panel, so we can finance it with a slightly bigger interest rate, but we can finance it anyway. If it's a local company, in local, I mean, we don't have Brazilian companies producing, but companies that provide the transfer their part of their production to the country, so we can also support them. So either way, one is slightly cheaper, but we can finance with the imported equipment. This is solar. For the wind, for example, we have 6 big companies producing in Brazil. Siemens, we have Gamesa, all big companies producing here, and I think they can support and the price is quite similar as far as I know with the imported equipment. So this we can use. We have to use the companies that are producing here. Again, they are not Brazilian, but they have a factory here, so we have to stimulate them as well. And I can just to give 2 examples, okay? But I think they illustrate that we are flexible. Either we use the local content, or if not, for instance, hydrogen, just to give you some frontier that it was also talked here by Elena. Hydrogen is a frontier in terms of technology. BNDES can stimulate, and I'm sure we can do something that fits the necessity of developing this industry in Brazil. It's impossible to say, no, everything has to be produced in the country. It's obviously not the way. So we can build something that we did in 2014 with the wind. We did some, we scaled up this production as time goes by. And of course, focusing on some parts of the industry that make sense for the investors and for the country. Okay.
Juan, you are on mute.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you, Marcos, for those clarifications. If anyone has more questions, please don't be shy and share them type them in your control panel, in your panel box, in your Zoom. And we finally go to our last speaker, who is Catherine Oval from the Bank Coldex from Colombia. And she will be presenting some financial instruments regarding sustainable projects. So Catherine, thank you very much for being with us today. I give you the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and hi everyone. Sorry, my presentation is in Spanish, but I will translate some of the words so you can understand what I'm saying. Bancoldex is the main developing bank for companies, and I want to show you what we have. One of the main focus for Bancoldex is the sustainability. So we are working to developing different kind of instruments, financial and non-financial instruments to support the companies and implement all these measures that can help them to improve the impact on the environmental. And some of the main projects that we had financed in the last years are, the first one is all the activities related with mitigate all the negative impact of on the environmental related with the main activity of the enterprise. Other is all the energy efficiency and energy renewable energy. Also the bioeconomy, that is something that in Colombia we are trying to promote a lot because we have a lot of potential. Also all the measures related with sustainable mobility, including not just the cars of the vehicles, but also all the other technologies that you will need for the charging or other stuff. Also we have, I just forgot how to say circular economy. How do you say it in English? Sorry. Yes?
Yes, circular.
Okay, thank you. Circular economy, this is also a new topic in Colombia. It's not new because we had financed these kind of measures a long time ago, but we have relatively a new strategy. So it's one of the sexiest topics right now. So a lot of people is interested in finance all these kind of activities. And also we have the possibility to finance all the activities or the measures related with adaptation to climate change. In this case, we are the line or the credit we are going to show you is thinking on for the companies that want to implement all these kind of technologies or the measures in their activity. But we also have the possibility to finance bigger measures, or this is one of the instruments that we have right now, but Bancoldex is working also as a first for bank like 2 years ago. So if we had projects for months about $3 million or more, we can finance them as a first for banks, I'm sorry. But this line is more for a little bit projects or projects that are his size is a little shorter. So in this case, we also have the possibility to finance circular economy, climate change, everything, also mitigation and adaptation actions, and the economy. This is a line that we have launched about 3 months ago with the support of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Industry. And in this case is thinking to support all these companies that has activities from very small companies to huge companies that has projects of big size. And this is the conditions. I don't know if you can have a little, this maybe is not as important for you, but what I want to show you is this line is for all kind of companies. And if you had a company in Colombia, or you had identified any company in Colombia that could implement all these kind of measures of activities, this line could help them to implement it and give them a very good conditions from the financial side to actually start doing these kind of technologies or implement these kind of measures in their activities. So I really just want to stop here, but what I really want to say is that Bancoldex right now has a different kind of possibilities, not just credit line for discount. We also have the first floor possibility to finance projects, and we are creating all the time different kind of measures on instruments, as mentioned before, also financial and non-financials to support the companies, because something that we had seen is that some of the companies have very good projects from the technical side, but they don't have all the ability or the capacity to go and get a credit. So we are working also to develop all these capacities so companies can access effectively to the credit. So thank you so much for the opportunity. And I don't know if there's any question. I think there is no.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I think from the moment there are no questions. But in any case, you can approach Low Carbon, and we will forward all the possible inquiries to Bancoldex. Thank you very much for your presentation, Catherine. So we've reached the end of the webinar. And finally, I wanted to thank you everyone for being here, and also to express not only our gratitude to our Business Finland, to Finnish Climate Fund, and to Bancoldex, to BNDES, for being here. And it is important to highlight that this webinar is an initial landmark for a longer collaboration relationship between Business Finland and the LCBA. As you have seen in the goals of the LCBA, the synergies are very clear with all the institutions that are gathering here today. And so you can see that all the structure that there's available for you, for companies to enter these markets and to finance your projects, and also contributing to the decarbonization of Latin American companies. And it is our firm intention to make these strong, to make the most of these strong synergies, and to lead to a more competitive Finnish business fabric, and also enhancing their access to Latin American markets, increasing the competitiveness, innovative and sustainability of Latin America through technology transfer from Finnish companies to Latin American companies. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and hope to see you in our activities, in the low carbon business action activities and matchmaking events, and also to register. We invite you to register on our platform. And so you can also get in touch with the local buyers and in the business opportunities that we have now active, the very numerous business opportunities we have now. So you can be a supplier and you can cover the many technology gaps that are being identified in Latin America. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to seeing you and helping you get in touch with Latin American companies.
Thank you very much, Alfredo. Thank you all.
Kiitos, Heidi.
Kiitos. Bye.